Welcome back to another episode of Who's On First. I'm your host, Dwayne.
And I'm Jason.
And before we start, please like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Who's On First. Follow us on TikTok, tiktok.com/Who's On First _. And follow us, like all the videos, share them, all that cool stuff. But let's now get to the Dodgers, who have made a bunch of moves. They probably are, I would say, the most aggressive team so far. With 4 days to go in the deadline. We've already picked up home fan favorite Kike Hernandez,
bringing back a family member.
Bringing back Kike to the fold, which is I'm gonna try to explain later why this might make some sense. Brought Kike back to the fold. We also picked up Amed Rosario for. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna curse. I don't care if it takes
You're upset, aren't you?
Yeah, the monetization off the video, but it's gonna be one curse. Bum ass Noah Syndergaard, you're a bum, and I can't believe we even got someone half decent for you. So good riddance. But today the Dodgers made a trade that was needed, but very puzzling. The Dodgers decided to talk to the old White Sox after the Angels got Lopez and Giolito, and they didn't say, "Oh, we'll take Dylan Cease." They didn't say, "Oh, Kendall Graveman or Liam Hendricks." Hell, even try to go after Dylan. Did I say Dylan Cease?
You did.
Okay. They didn't even try to do that. They went after good old Lance Lynn and another fan favorite who I have no issues with, Joseph Kelly. Joe Kelly is back with the Dodgers, where he belongs. Where I will say he did not want to leave, but he tried to work out a deal with the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Andrew Friedman are notorious for not paying relievers, so he got his bread with the White Sox. But now he's back home. I believe he's a Thousand Oaks boy, or no, he's either I think it's Riverside or Thousand Oaks. But he's back home, so that's great. But to get old Lance Lynn Joe Kelly, the Dodgers gave up too much. They gave up their number 9 prospect, Nick Nastrini, who's a UCLA Bruin, a hometown boy. He was part of the AA6 that the Dodgers have, of the best AA rotation probably we'll ever see. They also gave up Jordan Leisure, who profiles as a high leverage reliever, has an insane strikeout rate in AA. He misses bats. He has a good arm, so he looks probably he's going to average out the floor, a middle relief guy, the top of the ceiling, maybe a setup closer. If he pans out, and also fan favorite Trace Thompson, who had a really tough year. He started off in a horrible slump, then got hurt, but he went back to Chicago as well for Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly. I'm gonna kick this thing off, and I've seen all the Twitter posts, I've seen all the think pieces, and I'm going to stand pat with my take on this. I don't like this trade at all. I feel like once Giolito was gone from the White Sox, we should have just gotten Graveman and Joe Kelly. I would have been fine with that. Lance Lynn, I understand the need because Lance Lynn is an innings eater. He's always has been, right? Lance Lynn, for just throw out some numbers to try to make this deal make some sense. His strikeout rate so far is 26.9%, which is almost 3% better than his career rate. He has an 8.4% walk rate. It's a little bit worse than his career rate of 8.2%. Ground ball rate is 38.1%, which is a little bit off his career rate of 42.9%. However, he, I believe, has the highest ERA for starters in baseball with 6.47. Currently, and this is currently, it looks like he's allowing a 328 batting average on balls in play, which is his career average is 300, and then the league average is 295. So that's way above in both. And the most glaring stat to me, his 61.6% strand rate. So that's runners that he actually is able to strand. is the lowest he's ever had in his career. His career rate is 74.6, and the league average is 71.8%. That to me, I don't see how this helps the Dodgers because their number one issue this year has been the starting rotation, and the starting rotation giving up too many runs and getting shelled, or having injuries and not being and having to pull from the minor league system. And of course, you're bringing up the Bobby Millers, the Emmett Sheehan's, the Michael Groves to try to do the best that they can, but they're still developing. They're still kids. So you can't expect all this greatness out of them so early. It would be nice, but they're gonna have their ups and downs. Giving up Nick Nastrini, number one, for Lance Lynn at his worst is puzzling, and I don't know if it's because of. Well, I do know. I know that because of the third wild card, the trade, the rate for these players is high. However, even though the Dodgers have a surplus of pitching, I just don't see why Nastrini had to be one of those guys for Lance Lynn. I can see Nastrini in a deal for Nolan Arenado, which we'll get to in a little bit later. I can see Nastrini for a Marcus Stroman. I can make some sense. I don't understand this for Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly. That's just my thoughts off the top of my head. What do you think about the deal?
Well, let me just go through all the Dodgers trades this past week. I love the Kike trade. I feel like he knows the system, he knows the team, he knows the players, he knows the fan base, he knows what it takes to win in LA. So that was a good pickup. Getting rid of Syndergaard, it had to be done. It had to
Bum.
be done. And you guys got a nice pickup on that one. Rosario is not a bad pickup for a nice what he's a middle infielder. I think he plays outfield too, so you could kind of
Right.
slate him like as a utility.
Right.
So that's not a bad pickup yet. But yeah, the Lance Lynn trade, like I was at work this morning and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, like because we both talked about it off the podcast, like how that if any of our teams took it would that'd be a horrible trade.
Right.
And the first thing I thought about because the past off seasons and trade deadlines, the Dodgers fleeced a lot of people. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they got fleeced on this trade. And then I was puzzled because not saying that Joe Kelly's bad, but you're pairing him with Lance Lynn and you're giving up what you gave up. Like
Right.
I feel like it's not worth it. And then I felt like, well, why didn't they just save these players to trade with? We'll say like the Cardinals, even not even if Arenado's not in there, but for Montgomery or Flaherty.
Right.
So that's what puzzled me. But I don't put anything past the Dodgers with making moves. So could this be a precursor to another move?